Hello, my friends. This is Carrie Hamblen, the CEO and president of the Las Cruces Green Chamber of Commerce, coming to you again with another one of our special series, The Authority in Your Neighborhood. And today I have with me the one and only fabulous Brandi Arguello, who is the Recycling Education Coordinator for the South Central Solid Waste Authority. Girl, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in forever.
It's been too long. It's been really good. Been really, really busy. So we're definitely staying active.
Yes. It's always lovely to promote what's happening out there because, just in terms of being able to having the privilege of seeing like what's going on at the Corralitos landfill and what's going on in the back and in your office, it's like there's so much for people to learn about what's happening there at the South Central Solid Waste Authority. And so it's always really exciting to talk with each and every one of you that you set up. So I'm so glad to do it.
Absolutely. It's been very nice. I definitely wanted to, one of the things I wanted to bring up before we get into the good stuff, well, this is good
Hmm.
stuff, but um, South Central Solid Waste Authority recently received two different awards, statewide awards, one for the Amador Transfer Station, and the second one was for the Corralitos landfill. And it's specifically for the safety, our processes, and the cleanliness and on how we operate those different facilities. And it's definitely fantastic to be acknowledged on such a large on a statewide basis,
Yeah.
and just the kudos to our team who have really put in the work. And it's amazing to see the work that goes into keeping these facilities operating on a daily basis.
It's congratulations, brava, brava to you and everybody. I got to tour the Corralitos landfill, and just like the methane valves, and there's such a science into it.
Yes.
It is absolutely fascinating, and the fact that there are three layers of fencing to keep any debris from blowing way out into the desert, and that there are guys whose jobs is to go and get that because of the cleanliness, and the need for safety. I mean, it's also a health issue. So, way to go! I'm not surprised, given all the layers that you have in there to make sure it's okay. Way to go!
Absolutely. And if there's so much pride taken by the staff out there, Carlos Silvas, who is out at the Corralitos landfill, he truly takes pride in making sure he's not just operating the facility as an environmentally safe manner, but also being good stewards of the desert surrounding the
Hmm.
landfill. So making sure that not just our landfill is clean, but the area around it as well.
Right.
So he really takes a lot of pride in that. And it's a lot of work, but it really is. That you use the word fascinating. I say that all the time. This is truly
Yes.
a fascinating industry to be part of.
And just the science of it, it really is. It's incredible, and we'll be able to learn about that, I'm sure.
Right.
But today we're talking because we've got kind of a timeliness element with our conversation today, because eventually we're going to get to talking about America Recycles Day. But beforehand, you've been in the job for over a year now, right? Is it?
I've just hit three August 1st.
It just
Time
seems
flies
like,
when you're having fun, Carrie.
oh my gosh. Wow, 3 years. Um, that's amazing. Uh, that's fantastic. What do you find are the most common issues that you talk about with people as the recycle education coordinator? Because I'm sure there are kind of like the commons of like what can and can't recycle. What else?
A lot of folks have the confusion of, the city is not the city is a city, and South Central Solid Waste is South Central Solid Waste. So just getting the communication of out there of different scheduling, different pickups. Well, that's your solid waste. That's not the authority. Different things like that. But one of the commonalities, of course, is what goes where. We have a large influx of people who are relocating from other states to to our area because we have great weather. People like to
Hmm.
take
Oh
advantage
yeah.
of weather. So when people are relocating from other states, every state has very different recycling processes in place, whether it's the infrastructure, what they accept, what their processes are, and letting people know that, especially, when with larger states that have more advanced recycle processes than we do, letting them know that yes, the options are available, but this is what you have access to in our area. So that's a constant education of people specifically relocating to the area, and that's been one of the main focuses. And then, of course, the work with the Las Cruces public schools and the public school district, which is absolutely my favorite. They're great.
those young people, that's a whole nother thing because they're the ones who make their families recycle.
Don't I
They
know
are
it?
so good. They
Yeah.
are so good. They'll police
And
their
they're little
parents and say, that goes in the recycling bin.
and they're little sponges. They like to learn new things, and whenever they learn something, as long as they have a little something to take home with them to their families that really makes an impression, that's been the goal. So it's been really good. And then to be recognized whenever oh, the recycle lady, it's kind of cute.
That's a good title though, you know? It's not a bad thing. Well, we're coming up on America Recycles Day, which is November 15th. And do you know like the background of that? Because I remember, in our past partnerships with the South Central Solid Waste Authority, we've done a couple of things, and so what how did it start?
So from my understanding, the it started in Texas as Texas Recycles Day in 1994. And then the
Okay.
National Recycle Coalition, they kind of pushed it, presented it to their Congress, and then they wanted to make it more of a nationally observed day instead of just focusing on the state of Texas. And so they pushed it out from the National Recycle Coalition in 1997. And then, of
Hmm.
course, Keep America Beautiful has taken it on as far as pushing it out and making sure folks are aware, involved in having those, whether it's cleanup efforts or just having the focus on the importance of recycling. And it's not just an environmentally um, safe or caring thing to do. It affects everything, whether it's economy, whether it's your mood at home. It affects every different industry if you truly think about it and make those little changes every single day.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, a perfect example is me pressuring you to get your reusable notebook instead
Yep.
of using Post-its. Um, because there are those different ways of doing that. And the event that you're coordinating is taking place on the 15th
Yes.
at Pioneer Women's Park, and the event is from 9 to noon. So what are you hoping that folks what are you wanting to make sure that the message is that people come away from that event when they go?
Just making sure we're partnering with Keep Las Cruces Beautiful through the city of Las Cruces, and just making sure that during the day's events, just to provide information on how folks can recycle in their everyday, whether it's rethinking small purchases, whether you're in the store or different habits you can carry with you. Just little things that you can feel good about, that you're making a difference. And then a lot of times people just simply don't know where to start. So
Yeah.
just having information, where to start, where to go, support, resources, and then of course there's going to be, games and stuff like that for the kids. Whenever we do events, we were talking about swag a little bit, and whenever we do events, I'm very mindful of my giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do pens. We don't do the very common things. We want to be very mindful in the sustainability thing. So make sure that they're environmentally friendly. We've done bookmarks for the kiddos if there's any kind of
Mm.
educational reading material. They're bookmarks, but when you're done reading them or done using your bookmark, if it's torn or whatever it is, you write on it or you mess it up, you just plant it in its seeds.
Let's
All of
see.
these little
Right.
things that these little habits that we can put into a place just to change people's thinking about recycling. Even small changes can make a big difference.
Well, and we saw that with the bags at the grocery store,
Oh yeah.
right? It's like folks had issues with it, and understand those certain folks had issues with it, but it's also somebody who's lived here for most of my adult life. I don't like seeing in March we're the land of the flying bags, right? And so, our tote bags, and it took about 5 years for people to kind of get the hang of that. As like, oh, I've got my bags in my car. I'm me included. Oh, I got to bring in my grocery bags so that I
Right.
don't use any plastic bags. And it is changing those habits. It kind of you have to be patient, right? And teaching people how to change those kind of because for many of us it's just all rote, just repeat over and over again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's the same message over and over again. One example, again, going back to, tying this back into the Corralitos landfill, we participated in the summer internship program with Joniana
Mm-hmm.
County. And
Mm-hmm.
one of my students, I took her out to the Corralitos landfill and
Mm.
Carlos took us up on one of the cells and was kind of explaining to this high school student what they do up there, the processes and the responsibility, the very large responsibility that we have in being friends of the environment. And he touched on that. He's very specifically, he brought up the plastic bag ban. And he said, a lot of people, he had confessed, like I was a little frustrated by it at first too. It was an inconvenience.
Mhm.
But as time slowly progressed, he points out in the desert around the landfill, and he says, you know what? He's because of that, it cleaned up my desert. Because of that plastic bag ban,
Right.
because those multiple layers of fencing to protect, from trash being blown away during some very specific months, all those plastic bags, they ended up. Can you imagine a plastic bag being stuck in a mesquite bush out there for a month or 2 months or whatever it is, with the weather being, the elements being beating it down into very small pieces, trying to clean that up. It was very problematic and tedious.
Mm.
He made that observation, that plastic bag ban cleaned up his desert, and he was just specifically talking about the desert that's around the landfill. So can you imagine our deserts? We have such a large rural area in the state of
Yeah.
New York. So it's those small little things, they might be an inconvenience while we're at the store, but the bigger picture,
Yeah.
it makes a big difference.
Well, and that's why, the whole point of America Recycles Day, and just really the message that you want to do is reduce, reuse, and recycle, which is why it's appropriate that we're with the Green Chamber talking about that, because we talk about that is that, sometimes it is that we're changing habits, and those sometimes are difficult, and we have to kind of rethink how we do things, but we're looking at the long game
Yep,
because we don't have a plan B.
not in the
We,
slightest.
no, we got to take care of Mother Earth. And so I'm really grateful for that, and I'm grateful for just all the activities that are happening out at South Central Solid Waste Authority, and just the work that you do, because it's not a pretty like field of for an occupation. It's like, oh, you do recycling or trash, but the thing that I always say to people is like, you will know it when your trash isn't picked up. You will know it when your community is dirty because there's no trash pickup. I mean, it is so important, but it's not like a bougie job. It's
Right.
something that is so necessary. And all the people out there at the South Central Solid Waste Authority are doing that job every day. And they are proud of what
Absolutely.
they do, and they are amazing at it. So those recognitions are very, very well deserved. And I'll talk with you offline of coming out and maybe saying a big congratulations to the whole crew.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got America Recycles Day. It's coming up on Saturday, November 15th at Pioneer Women's Park. The event starts at 9 o'clock in the morning and goes until about noon. As Brandi said, you're going to have all sorts of different games, opportunities to understand what you can recycle. Will there be recycling there? Will people be able to bring recycling? Oh, so
So
you can
you'll
bring.
be able to, we'll have recycle bins. You'll be able to. We won't have the large loading containers. It's more of an event, not necessarily a cleanup event, but we'll have the 96-gallon bins available for those people who are participating in the event and just focusing on reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce and reuse. Those two are first
Yes.
for a reason. So just
Right.
making sure that we're having those habits, so we'll be able to support the mission while we're at the event as well.
Well, and as you mentioned, because we had posted one of your spotlights and somebody had made a comment, and like the whole point is to reduce our need for those things,
Yeah,
right? So, water bottles instead of the plastic water bottles, using bags instead of the plastic bags. You're reducing your need for them, therefore reducing the production of them, therefore reducing the impact on the planet for them. So it
supply and
is.
demand is still in effect. So
Mhm.
it really is. It's fascinating. The deeper you dive into your knowledge, into your own habits, not necessarily what we're doing as a city, but what we're doing as residents at home,
Right.
as mothers, as teachers, as as CEOs, what we're doing in our own lives and our own habits, how we can truly make a difference.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm excited, and know that the event is going to be a big deal. So we're going to promote that here. If you'd like to know more information about either America Recycles Day or what's going on at the South Central Solid Waste Authority, you can find the information above or below. You can always visit them on the web. You'll see the website also in the text. Brandi, my dear, it is always a pleasure, and it's so fun to be able to work with you on things like this. So I am so glad that we were able to connect. So thank you so much for the work that you do and the crew and everybody. And we'll see you at America Recycles Day.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carrie.
All right, bye, girl.